And I support Baker. And I like Baker. But if the Houston Texans called up the Cleveland Browns and said, we would like to trade Deshaun Watson for Baker Mayfield and other stuff, you know what the Browns say? How fast can we get this done? So, Joy, I have a question for you because you brought up Justin Herbert on Twitter today. And people are like, Justin Herbert? Why, how could you even consider trading Justin Herbert for Deshaun Watson? My question for you is this. There's 32 teams in the league. One of them is the Texans. They already have Deshaun. Another one is the Chiefs. They have the most talented quarterback ever. There's 30 other teams. Is there another team in the league that if the Texans called and said, we want to trade you Deshaun Watson, they don't at least have a long meeting about it, if not immediately say yes, other than the Kansas City Chiefs? So there are 30 other teams that would immediately have an all-hands-on-deck meeting. No matter who their quarterback is, we can get Deshaun Watson.
I would say that the Packers shouldn't, but since they traded up in the first round to draft Jordan Love, who can't even win the backup spot, I'm sure that they would. If I was the Packers, I would not consider trading the likely MVP for Deshaun Watson. So that's one other team, and I think you would argue that they should consider it as well. But, yeah, pretty much every other team should consider it.
Yeah, listen, Joey, I think at worst, Deshaun's the fourth best quarterback in football. So Mahomes, I said you wouldn't do the trade. The next two, and this is at most better than him, are Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Rodgers is so much older than Deshaun, I absolutely would do it. It's 37 versus 25, so I'm signing up for that. Russell is enough older than him that I'm having the meeting. I'm like, do we have to include any draft picks? Is this one for one? And everyone else, to me, Joy, is a no-brainer. Justin Herbert, it's a no-brainer. Kyler Murray, it's a no-brainer. Lamar Jackson, a no-brainer. And I thought that was somewhat obvious, but I would see these Charger fans in your mentions today, Joy, acting like Justin Herbert is more of a sure thing than Deshaun Watson. So I don't know, Joy, is that just fans overvaluing their own guy? Well, or are you and I overvaluing Deshaun?
Well, I think they're looking at the long-term situation with Justin Herbert. And I saw this I have to give Bill Barnwell credit for this because I saw him talking about it, and I was like, this is a thing with Justin Herbert? I love Justin Herbert. I think he's the future of the Chargers. He had an incredible season. But right now, today, Deshaun Watson is miles ahead of Justin Herbert, and it's not a question. I think what they're talking about is the money, which, to be honest, anytime we start talking about money, I'm like, if anyone can even explain how the cap in the NFL works and how any of these contracts work, blessings to you. You should be on a team. You should be being paid by a team to break that down. But that's not even a concern. Deshaun Watson, to your point, is at worst the fourth best quarterback in the league right now.
At worst. And he's young. So here's the other element here. And by the way, you mentioned anyone that can explain the cap should have a job with the team. Well, thank you for that, Joy, because I can explain the cap, and one day maybe I'll have a job with the team. So listen, Deshaun's signing bonus has been paid. So his contract ends up averaging out about $30 million. So that is a bargain for a quarterback of his caliber. Now, is it the bargain you have when you have a quarterback on his rookie deal? No, of course not. So for the next couple years before Justin Herbert were to get his big extension, you would be paying more. But he is also more of a sure thing. He is more of a known quantity. And anywhere Deshaun goes, he is going to be relieved, excited, and exhilarated because it's not the mess that is Houston. And so I'm going to throw another team out there. And I know, my God, get the ketchup and mustard ready. Bills fans, be honest, because you're about to pay Josh Allen. If the Houston Texans call up and say, we would like to trade Deshaun Watson for Josh Allen, you are doing that in a heartbeat. And Ravens fans, you are too. And Browns fans, and this is why it's not an insult to Baker. Browns fans, you are too. And the money part of it is irrelevant with those three guys because those three guys are all getting extensions this offseason. So they're all about to get expensive. Those guys are all only 1 year younger draft class-wise than Deshaun Watson. So I just flatly don't. There is one team that hangs up the phone, the Chiefs. There is another team that says, let me call you back, and probably says, not interested, the Seahawks. There is another team that says, wait a minute, and then they talk to their guys and they're like, can you believe they're calling? Do they know his age? Let's make this happen immediately. We'll deal with the fallout. That's the Packers. And there is every other team in the league that says, done. If you just want to go 1 for 1, our quarterback for your quarterback, done. And almost all of them would include at least 1 first-round pick. By the way, same with the Jags and Trevor Lawrence, the Jets and Justin Fields. The whole point of a draft pick is to pray one day he might turn into someone almost as good as Deshaun Watson, who Joy and I just said is at worst the 4th best quarterback in football, and at best, the 2nd best quarterback in football. So, yeah, it's not an insult to Baker. It's a reality of who the best players in the league are. Coming up next, once upon a time, Big Ben was one of the best players in the league. Now he might be the worst quarterback in his own division. What does that mean for his future and the Steelers' future? That's next. Nick right in for Colin on the Herd. Second, third time in his career. Reliable, consistent. I can lean on somebody. And what happens?